If you're ready for a story, take a seat. If you're ready for a story, take a seat. Nod your head and tuck your feet. Make your hands all nice and neat. If you're ready for a story, take a seat. Hello! My name is Angie, and I am the Youth Services Coordinator at the Galax-Carroll Regional Library, and I am here to share in virtual story time with you today. How is everyone? Do you see that I have my Christmas tree here? It is all decorated with some of the decorations that are in the Take and Make activity bags this month. So be sure to go by the library and pick up your Take and Make activity bag if you haven't done that yet. There's a sticker book inside. There's some crafts and some crayons. And thank you so much to Rooftop of Virginia for donating our activity books and crayons for our Take and Make activity bags for this month. Such a wonderful donation, and I know that so many people have already enjoyed their activity bags. So how are you? Is your house decorated with one of these Christmas trees as well? Well, today in virtual story time, we are going to talk about winter, because yesterday, Tuesday, December 21st, was the first day of winter. It was the winter solstice. So we're going to read 3 books about winter and cold wintry things. We're going to sing a couple songs. We're going to do a felt board. So it's going to be a fun winter solstice virtual story time. So let's jump right in with our first book. It's called, appropriately enough, Winter. And it was written by Anna Claiborne with pictures by Stephen Lewis. It was published by Thameside Press, and we have permission to read it on virtual story time today. Now, I'm not going to read the whole book because it's kind of long, but you are welcome to come to the library and check it out so that you can learn all about winter. We'll just read the first little bits of it, though. What is winter? Winter is the darkest, coldest time of the year. The sun only shines for a few hours each day, and the evenings are long and dark. But winter is also time for exciting feasts and festivals such as Christmas and New Year. Now, have you noticed that the days seem really short and the nights are very long? The sun is only shining for a short amount of time. In fact, the sun came up yesterday at 7:30 in the morning and it set by 5:05 in the afternoon. That was the shortest day of the year, which also means it was the longest night of the year. But every day from now on, the days will get a tiny bit longer and a tiny bit longer and a tiny bit longer, and the nights will get a little bit shorter and a little bit shorter and a little bit shorter till we get all the way to June 21st, and that's the summer solstice, and that's when we have the longest day and the shortest night. How winter happens. Winter always feels colder than the other seasons. This is because in winter, the part of the earth that we live in leans away from the sun. That's also why the days are shorter as well. So that's some interesting facts about winter and winter solstice. Our next book, does that guy look familiar to you? Who do you think he looks like? Did you say Santa Claus? Well, this is actually a farmer. This is a book called Dream Snow. It was written by Eric Carle, and we have permission to read it from Philomel Books. Dream Snow. Let's read about our farmer, who looks an awful lot like Santa Claus. On a small farm, there lived a farmer. There he is. There's our farmer. He only had a few animals, and he could count them on the fingers of one hand. So the farmer named the animals 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. By the end of the barn stood a small tree. Can you see that tree? Let's get it in the picture. There's his tree. The farmer named it Tree. "Hello, Tree," he would say when he passed by it. Our farmer is not very creative with the names of his animals or his tree, is he? The farmer took good care of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Every day he fed them and cleaned their stalls. He fed them in the bucket and he cleaned the stalls out with his pitchfork. In the evening, when his farm work was done, he went to his house. Then he sat in his favorite chair and he drank a cup of hot peppermint tea and he ate a slice of bread with honey on it. One night, as he sat there, the farmer felt very cozy and a bit tired. "Oh, heavens," he yawned. "It's almost Christmas and it hasn't snowed yet." Kind of like here, it's almost Christmas and we haven't gotten any snow yet this season. With that, our farmer fell asleep. Soon he dreamed of falling snowflakes. They gently covered him with a white blanket. See the white blanket? And underneath that, there's our snoozing farmer. The snowflakes gently covered 1 with a white blanket. Now 1 is the first farm animal. Can you guess? What do you think number 1 is? What farm animal do you think is named 1? What did you say? Let's find out. A horse! 1 is a horse. The snowflakes gently covered 2 with a white blanket. Now, if number 1 is a horse, what do you think number 2 is? Let's find out. Number 2 is a cow. The snowflakes gently covered 3 in a white blanket. Now, if 1 is a horse and 2 is a cow, what do you think 3 is? Let's find out. A sheep! 3 is a sheep. The snowflakes gently covered 4 in a white blanket. Now, what animal do you think is named 4? Let's see. A pig! The snowflakes gently covered 5 in a white blanket. So, if we've had a horse and a cow and a sheep and a pig, what do you think number 5 is? Any guesses? Let's find out. 5 is a chicken or a rooster. The farmer woke up from his dream and looked out his window and saw snow. It was not dream snow, it was real snow. It had snowed while he napped. Now the snow clouds had moved away and the moon and the stars sparkled in the wintry night sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 were safe and fast asleep. Oh my, cried the farmer, I almost forgot. Quickly he put on his warm coat, he put on his warm boots, he put on his warm hat and his warm gloves. He grabbed a box, he slung a sack over his shoulder, and he dashed outside. Now this is where he looks like Santa Claus, I think. Running past 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, the farmer shouted, "I almost forgot! I almost forgot!" waking up the animals. They looked and wondered what the farmer was up to now. They watched as he unpacked the box and emptied the sack. So he's unpacked the box. What do you think that is that he's packed in the box? They look around. What do you think he's going to do with those round things? Do you think it has anything to do with tree? Let's find out. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5 watched as he decorated tree. Then he shouted, "Merry Christmas to all!" The end. Oh, and he has presents under tree for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, what a great story about our farmer friend and the dream snow that covered him and his farm animals in a white blanket. Well, I think that now we should stand up. Everybody stand up. I'm going to move back here so you can all see me. And we are going to sing a song. Do you know the song that goes like this? We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Did you know that one? Okay, sorry, I had to move the camera up. Well, this is a song, and it goes like this. The first verse, we're going to do some clapping. The song goes like this. Join in with me. Let's all do a little clapping. Let's all do a little clapping. Let's all do a little clapping and spread Christmas cheer. Great job! I can hear you all the way in Galax from wherever you are. All right, our next verse, it's pretty fun. We're all going to do a little jumping. Ready? Let's all do a little jumping. Let's all do a little jumping. Let's all do a little jumping and spread Christmas cheer. Great. Next, we're all going to do a little bending. Let's all do a little bending. Let's all do a little bending. Let's all do a little bending and spread Christmas cheer. All right. Last verse. It's my favorite. We're all going to do a little twirling. Let's all do a little twirling. Let's all do a little twirling. Let's all do a little twirling and spread Christmas cheer. Great job, you guys. Whew. Feels good to get up and move around a little bit. Okay, let's move. Sorry about that. Sorry that you saw my fingers there. Okay, our next book, our last book, our third book, it is called The Mitten. It's written and illustrated by Jan Brett. Have you ever read this book before? It's a pretty popular book. Well, as we're reading, we've got a mitten here. The story is about a little boy named Nicky and his snow white mittens and the adventure that he has while he's wearing them. So it was written by Jan Brett. It's based on a Ukrainian folk tale, so an old story that Jan Brett adapted, and it was published by Putnam Sons, and we have permission to read it on virtual story time today. The Mitten. There's our friend Nicky. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. Looks like he lives in a very snowy place. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you will never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally, Baba made them. Just like our snow white mitten back here. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens." She was really worried that he was going to lose one. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. Now, can you see that mitten? Do you see where it dropped? It's very hard to see because it is white, just like the snow, it's camouflage. It's right there. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. So here's our mole friend, burrowing, and he pops up and climbs inside that white mitten. He's so comfy and warm in there now. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled. Oh, here's our rabbit. And he wiggled in feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but he saw the rabbit's big kickers, and he moved over. So the mole didn't think there was room for both, but he saw Rabbit's big feet. He didn't want to get kicked, so he moved over to make room for Rabbit inside the mitten. Next, Hedgehog. Hedgehog came snuffling along, having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat. He decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. So hedgehogs are covered in spiky spines, and the mole and the rabbit did not want to get poked, so they made room for a hedgehog. I don't blame them. I would have made room too. Oh my goodness. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's giant, glinty talons, they quickly made room for him. So, whew, goodness, hedgehog and mole and rabbit thought, there's no room. But when Owl came in, they did not want to get poked by his talons. Boop. So they made room. Sorry, my phone's ringing. All right. Up next, Badger. Under the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. So badgers have really sharp claws that they dig with. So all the rest of the animals thought, the thumb of the mitten is the perfect place for a badger to live in. Do you think that any more animals can fit? Let's find out. Oh my goodness, it started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotted by and stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl, and the badger saw his sharp, shiny teeth, they made lots of room. Whew, I'd give the fox some room too. He's got sharp teeth. We don't want to mess with him. Oh, goodness. That mitten looks pretty full. I don't think any more animals can fit in. Let's see. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up, and not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be, but what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Oh goodness, well, let's make room for the bear. That's all we can do. We don't want to upset the bear. Surely there is no more room for any other animals though. But along came a little mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wiggled into the one space left, and she made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. Oh my goodness. What in the world is going to happen next? The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The force of his sneeze shot the mitten up into the air and scattered the animals in all directions. The animals just went flying everywhere. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten, silhouetted against the blue sky. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see that he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his 2 new mittens. Oh, but look at this picture. Baba's like, one is much bigger than the other one. Oh my goodness, what a great story. Look at all of our animals still packed into our mitten. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. We'll sing one last song before we wrap it up. And I've got some jingle bells, and I know you know this song, so please join in with me. It goes like this. Jingle bells, jingle jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Well, thanks again for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year. Be sure to come by the library, check out some books for your winter break, grab a Take and Make activity bag, and I'll see you next week again for virtual story time. Thanks for sitting, thanks for listening, thanks for coming here today. Now that story time is over, hope you have a lovely day. Bye. Take care.